Semyon Dukach, and fundamentally I'm an angel investor. That means I invest fairly small amounts of money in a whole bunch of really interesting founders, and I then try to help them as much as I can. I try to associate myself with people I really care about, who in turn care about their customers, and make as big an impact as I can, really make a difference. The current form of my angelic activity is being the managing director of Techstars in Boston, which actually fits really well with that model, because Techstars believes in giving first and picking founders who we can help a lot and who the Boston mentor community can help a lot. Make a big impact, a big difference in a short amount of time. So we take about a dozen companies each year, and they spend 3 months with us in a very intense environment where they work very, very hard, like at the very limit of what's possible. And we have the best mentors in town come in and really try to help them. Investors come in and make investments, and then they end up bonding, right? So I'd say the biggest impact on the founders is actually not from us and not even from the mentors, but from each other, right? In this environment, under a lot of pressure, with this demo day artificial deadline at the end, they end up connecting and caring about each other's startups and helping each other during the program and for years afterwards. So that's probably the main factor that I attribute the track record to. And the track record includes some big valuations and some exits even at this point, but beyond that it includes just a surprisingly small number of failures. Like the great majority of the companies become successful to some degree.
Yeah.
And whereas of course, startups in general usually fail. So the startups here don't usually fail, I think, because of that intense strength of the small network, of the core network of people, and then the larger network beyond it, beyond the Boston community, and then Techstars in other locations as well.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit about the current class that you have.
Well, we have a fantastic class here. It's a little larger than usual. It has 14 companies in it. They come from all kinds of places, very diverse group of companies. I'd have to list each one separately to give you the flavor. There are a few content companies in the class, which is kind of unusual for us, which was a coincidence. It's a more diverse, I'd say, group of founders than we've usually been able to attract. So a lot of women founders, a lot of just very different kinds of people, different ages, different backgrounds culturally.
And how long have you been managing director?
I've been the managing director since the spring of 2014.
And so
2 years.
In your time, is there anything that has ever really surprised you with the startups that are coming through here?
Oh, there's a lot of surprises, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you take these companies at the stage that they're at, believe me, you get surprises almost every day.
Yeah.
I mean, usually in the first couple of weeks of the program you find major flaws that you didn't see when you were selecting them, of course. But the interesting part is when you can get the founders to really open up about those weaknesses and flaws and engage us and the founders and the mentors in trying to address them. So generally, that's what happens, and then the improvement can be really, really rapid.
And out of the ones that have gone through the program while you were here, how many came out looking fairly different than what they originally came in as?
Oh, at least half of them probably into. I mean, they don't always have a big pivot. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they have a major pivot, but often they look very different when you get to know them. Maybe they're different on the inside. They might do the same thing as a business, right?
Yeah.
But the team culture and the team dynamic might actually be much stronger after just a few months. Because we push them. We get them to be open, and then we push them hard, and then they push themselves.
And why work with Techstars instead of doing something else right now?
I just love it. In Boston, it seems to be the place where the best companies hang out. Early stage, or maybe a little later stage now. It's not all early stage; it's a mix, right?
Yeah.
It's part of this larger network, so I think it's a strong brand. So I think if I was running my own accelerator, I wouldn't feel like I'd be able to get companies of the same caliber as easily as generally from the rest of the world. In Boston, sure, there's a community that's not really about Techstars. It's just about alumni of whatever we call the program, right, being around and wanting to help here in Boston.
Right.
I mean, this is the kind of broad, not niche focused, but like extremely highly selective program. We have very open programs that are awesome too and help the community tremendously, but this is the program in Boston that's actually exclusive, right, and only for the very best founders. So it's a neat place. I was very fortunate to walk into that. I mean, Katie Ray really built it up over the previous 4 years to where, you know, it had a lot of success and a lot of successful alumni who were involved in helping, and so it just continued it. So yeah, it's just a great opportunity for